Well, hello, everybody. This is Michael here with California Travel Videos. And I would like to say, hi, I'm Michael. Grace is not here with me today, so I'm going to be doing this one solo. And I'm looking forward to having you all out there. And let's see who's out there so far. I'm going to have to see if I can get all the right screens over here to chat time. What can chitty chatty? So I'll put a little chat message there. Greetings from CTV, California Travel Videos. And I hope you all are having a good day today. Beautiful day out here in California. And, I took some of my gear with me when I went down to Quartzsite. I'll talk about Q21 here in just a couple of minutes. But I'm trying to get all my gear put back together. I just feel like you ever have that where you feel like about 80 or 90% there and still have some things to do that are pending, but we're going to give it our best shot, the college try, and I hope you're enjoying the show, whether you're watching it live or recorded, and hopefully the audio is transmitting out all okay. And let's see, today, RV travel news. Number one, we're going to be talking about life at Quartzsite. Number two, those YouTubers filming. Is it now okay at national parks? We'll look at that. Thousand Trails has a new program called The Adventure, and we'll talk about the latest upgrade offer for those of you who are like more the full-timers, I think is who it applies to. But if you're even not interested in it, you might be interested in what other people are doing, the full-timers, and how that affects them. And Harvest Host, they've got some member RV predictions for 2021. And we always like to talk about the forecast of what's going on in the industry. They had actually 10,000 plus surveys that they did. Woohoo! They must have a lot of members. Number five, trends and forecasts in the RV industry by the RV Industry Association. Number six, cellular internet speeds. When I was down there at Quartzsite, what about tower congestion? weBoost, MIMO. MIMO? Multiple inputs, multiple outputs. I did some testing down there and have a video on that. Number seven, Winnebago's roadshow is hitting the states now. They're going to spend a week in different states. We'll talk about that a little bit. And number eight, DeMars and Associates. What's up with that? Oops, excuse me. Never heard of them before. But they are working with the RV Industry Association to try to, how can you say it, clean up the act, have a better dispute mediation resolution process for those who are out there get new rigs and things just don't always go well. Now, that's not for those of us who are already out there with our gear, but that's a new feature, a new benefit for people that are in the industry. And so they're trying to get, I guess, the big guys, that would be what? Forest Trail, Thor Industries, Winnebago Association, to try to get some of them to see if they can sign up for some of their gear. I would think, is it some of the high-end stuff like, well, you wonder if they would need it with the Airstreams of the world or the Previs or things, but hey, be interesting to talk about that a little bit. So, okay, let's go ahead and go on with the show. Number one, Quartzsite. So, I spent a week down there. Been back about a week now, so it was a good getaway. The weather was mostly good. And first off, let me talk a little bit about, well, what I'm wearing right here. Can you see it? There it is. Hashtag pound sign, if you will, RV cool kids, or excuse me, cool RV kids. That's it. So, they had some logo wear and Living Light RV from Canada. They were looking forward to come down, but then when the borders got cut off, they thought, well, maybe they could go ahead and fly down and pick up something. That just didn't work out. So the attendance wasn't as good as we would have hoped, but there was still, I think, the better part of, I don't know if it's 100,000 rigs, but there were a lot of different BLM areas, La Posa North and South, and the, let's see, was it Wells? I'm not sure which one. It wasn't Tyson Wells, but there's about 7 or 8 huge areas. And the state of Arizona said, hey, we'd like people to not be in groups of more than 50 because of the COVID, of course. So, I was down there and tried to keep my social distancing. And when all else try to stay upwind of everybody else, or at least equal with everybody else. But y'all talk a little bit about what happened down there. But meant to be RVing, they are also some great people, Teresa and Mike, and I think that was what first kind of got me in tune with the YouTube group. There's a lot of different groups with different things out there in La Posa South. I didn't go out to the end, but I heard that there were the sun worshipers out there. So, there's something for everybody. Papa Drew was the one who was kind of, I guess, the unofficial host, because remember, we weren't going to be having anything official with big groups because the state would like it to obviously be where they didn't spread any of the viruses. So what else? Grand Adventure. Mark Guido was there. He's got over 50,000 subs. And I think it was a Friday. Traveling Robert came into town. And he's got, I think, a couple 100,000 subs now also. So there were some of the big guys and some of us that were the smaller. I did 3 interviews, and there were a lot of people doing interviews there of other RVers. And so I was kind of in the clan of about, maybe 5 or 6 of the RVs with Grassroots Living, Shalane and Dean. And I've got a little video here that comes from the interview, a little excerpt. And also Diary of a Family, Garrett and Carolyn. In fact, Garrett now has a mobile RV repair service, which is hot commodity these days. His wife, Carolyn, she is a nurse. In fact, she's going to be going down near Tucson. Go ahead and do a 3-month assignment there. They have a lot of needs to help people in the hospitals with COVID, and that's what she does. And 3 wonderful kids. X marks the spot, Richard and Hope. He's a ham kind of guy, but he likes to ham it up a little bit. They were all very generous. They would have some potlucks where we'd share some food and try to keep good social distances, along with Days Great Adventures, Greg and Shelley. Never Too Late. They have an Instagram channel, Roger and Tina. And then I also did an interview besides Grassroots, Diary of a Family. And the third one was Whoa Nelly, RV Adventures, Brian and Lucy, who I saw out on a hike. I guess, I'm not sure who coordinated. Oh, Dan's van. That's it, Dan's van. Really nice guy. And he led a group of about, there was about 20 some. And I think 9 of us went up the Palm Canyon to the top, up to where the palm trees were. And I got to say, I've been up some grades. I've never been on one quite as steep or quite as rocky as this one. I felt like some of it was mountain climbing. Didn't have any special gear, but hey, we made it. Everybody came back and had a good time. So that was kind of a fun getaway. And let me go ahead and see if I can get this video here from a little excerpt of the interview. And okay. Go over here to another camera if everything's working well, and get myself out of the way. Maybe I'll just go in a lower third, and I hope you can hear the audio just fine. Let's put me over here a little further away. There we go. And let's see if I can get the video going here. This is starting off with Grassroots Living with Shalane and Dean. How you found yourself here at Quartzsite?
How many years ago was it? I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago. We heard about this little town called Quartzsite, and I thought, what in the world are they talking about?
Yeah.
So we ended up coming up here, and all we see is looks like hundreds of thousands. I don't know that many, but there's still quite a few RVs in this big desert all around Quartzsite. And we just thought, okay, that's got to be something. We've got to figure out why everybody's here.
Yeah, and I don't remember. It's been so long since we heard about Quartzsite. I don't even remember how we heard about it. Probably YouTube, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And just came down here and then learned after the first year that it's all about the circles. It's all about the people.
Beautifully said. Yeah. So I guess some people say that this is the world's largest parking lot. Other people say this is Burning Man for old people. So what's your observation on what's going on down here?
I actually like the second one a lot better. It is Burning Man for old people. And it's, I think it's just so cool because as you go through these deserts, you'll find these $1 million Class A's alongside a
tent.
A tent or a pop-up tent trailer. Or,
old van.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody.
They have a pickup camper
what
themselves,
it is,
very
I think
bright
it's
red.
Their spot.
Yeah.
And hi, I'm Brian,
And I'm Lucy.
and we're with
Whoa,
Whoa Nelly
Nelly
RV Adventures.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you here today. And so how did you find yourself here? Tell us your story.
That's your story. Actually,
he likes to hotel it.
I'm
I like
a
to
room
camp it.
service camper, and she used to be a tent camper. So to compromise, we have an RV. And what got us to Quartzsite is we came down here because we're one of the cool kids, and we wanted to be part of the group.
Cool RV kids.
4-3, and we can go ahead and do multiple takes and all that kind of
No,
stuff.
no.
The peanut gallery.
She has to
They're
be
kids.
there.
In their fifth wheel.
Okay, 5, 4, 3. Well, it's been such a pleasure to meet both of you, and almost as much as your great 3 kids. And I'm just kind of start off as you are a diary of a family. Tell us a little bit about how you got into this whole thing.
Well, do we want to start at
A
the beach?
long time ago,
A long time
in
ago.
2017, we went on a camping trip together as a family.
Yep, we
All
invited-
of our family members dropped out for one reason or another.
Camping a tent?
No, we had borrowed a
There's a
pop-up
pop-up.
tent trailer, and we were inviting everybody to come out and join us for like 5 days at Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
Oh, Mount
And
Rainier?
they were,
They
Yeah,
come from
sad.
Washington.
yeah, we can make it.
Now they're full timers.
And then they all couldn't.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and go back. Anyway, great people, great interviews coming up. I can't wait to share those with you. We just kind of ad-libbed, didn't have a lot of pre-scripted information. Whereas when they interviewed me, some of them, they said, okay, here's a specific question. You repeat the question, then give the answer because they're going to integrate a lot of different people with that same question. So anyway, look for that from some of them. So anyway, that was kind of some of the things we did down there. And as I've mentioned, if you take a look at the video on Palm Canyon, that one kicked my tail a little bit. It wasn't, really that strenuous. Well, in a way, but I mean, it wasn't like it was many hours of it. I think I don't know if it's a half a mile there, but it's all kind of like this. It's mostly straight up, or it felt like it anyway. So, okay, what else? Going down there, I did a video from Petaluma to Los Angeles and then to Q21, Quartzsite. And I did a kind of like a day in the life of. So as I was going down through Interstate 5 to Southern California, I was thinking about, I'm here by the aqueduct, the California aqueduct. And what about all this water, which is a big part of life for the people in California? So I had some interesting things to share about that. And then I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do a little mooch docking. We'll talk more about mooch docking, but I did at Bass Pro, and I thought when I did a search, I wanted to search for a Cracker Barrel, and there was one I think in Rialto, and then I thought, well, how about Cabela's? And there was one at where I stayed. I'll think about the name of Rancho Cucamonga, I guess it was, and I got there, and it wasn't a one at all. It was a Bass Pro. And I thought, oh, what's up with that? So I went inside, talked to the folks there. They said, yeah, that would be fine. Manager said, give me your name and your license number, make and model of your RV. Sure. The people there were very nice, and I was really impressed with it. I went back the next day, and I was able to find some RV related things to go ahead and purchase from them in appreciation. But I kind of like this idea. Now, Grace and I had normally been out in state or national park, sometimes independence. But we're trying to, now that I've got some solar panels on the roof for us, is try to make good use of those. So at any rate, that's kind of some of the new elements we've done. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Okay, at any rate, did another video where it was kind of driving up to Quartzsite and seeing all the thousands of RVs peppered all over, the mountainsides there and in the valley, some of them even in the washes, the dried out washes. I guess they weren't expecting any flash floods or they would move quickly. But I had a e-bike ride that I did through the La Posa South area to kind of give people a little scope of what the RV life is. Got some drone footage also of there. It's no airports near that, so that wasn't a problem. I had a hard disk crash. Oh gosh, this happened last year, and I thought, is my laptop? Is that what's going on with? I don't. Last time they had to do some magic to get the um, basic disk operating system going, but this year it just wasn't going to start. So the next morning I tried it again and it started. And it's like, well, that was a little unsettling. So it's worked fine, but I think that sometimes when the hourglass gets there, don't do control S's to save or whatever. Just let it do its thing. Treat it like an old friend. So anyway, I was able to get more videos out then. And then I had part of that video also was we had a ton of firewood. A ton? Yeah, it might have been 2,000 pounds. It felt like it. Anyway, there's a lot of firewood for the different subgroups. And so they had delivered firewood, but on their way out, they got stuck in the wash. You know, it's like when you're going through a wash that's kind of like this, and you've got like a pickup, you know, it's probably a 1 or 2 ton pickup. It was a big one. And it had probably 1,000 pounds of wood behind it still, mesquite, you know, very heavy wood. And as I was going up the other side, it was like, well, you know, the back of the pickup is, as they start to spin the wheels, it just goes right down in the gravel and the sand. So they were stuck for about an hour. And as in the video I said, is the only thing worse than being stuck in a wash is being stuck in a wash with a lot of YouTubers around, which we remember. There's like hundreds, I guess, of YouTubers, big and small, that were there. So anyway, that was pretty funny, but they got out after a little digging. And I did do a speed test when I was in Blythe. You know, this is on the Colorado River between California and Arizona, and everything was looking good there. You know, 30 megabits plus on my Wi-Fi hotspot. I have both AT&T and Verizon. And then when I got out to Quartzsite, not so good. I wasn't using my weBoost, you know, which has the antenna on it there. But, you know, the signal of the power, you know, if you're within 3 to 4, 5 miles, you got plenty of power, but you just don't have the bandwidth. Everybody else is on there too. It's like you got all these lanes of the freeway, but they're all filled up. So it turned out that Verizon was pretty good. I was getting, you know, 5 to 10 megabits per second, which is fine for uploading videos. AT&T was, I'm sorry, well, that was with AT&T. AT&T had good bandwidth, but Verizon was, well, I guess there's so many people, RVers, that love Verizon, which is good in most places. But when you get to somewhere like Quartzsite, with almost all the people there having Verizon service, they were contention. I didn't try the, you know, 1 to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I probably could have got some bandwidth then. The weBoost didn't seem to make any difference. And I did try the MIMO. Do I have my gear here? I wonder if I have it back there. Oh, that might be it. You know about multiple inputs, multiple output antennas? You know, sometimes, I mean, most cell phones, you don't have a hookup for this, but, you know, there is this, has a Netgear. And here it is. So that is an antenna. It handles multiple inputs. You know, when they transmit from the cell towers with 4G, they transmit in kind of like at 90-degree angles with their antennas. They look like they go straight up and down, but you've got one goes this way and one goes this way. And if you have multiple antennas on the other side, then you can go ahead and get a better signal sometimes. But you need to have a something that hooks up with these two. And I don't know if you can see it very well. Let's go ahead and put something behind it to make it a little easier to see it there. There you go. You need to have something that hooks up to those. So it has to have a MIMO interface, and a lot of the hotspots do have those. So I could try it on both my AT&T and Verizon. And it didn't really do any good. It didn't help at all because it was a bandwidth problem. So even though I was trying to get more signal strength, it was like, no, I don't care. It's just not going to work for you on Verizon service. So, but it was good to do some testing, and in some locations where you have more marginal signal strength, you know, where you maybe say, I don't want to spend $500 for a weBoost, but when you consider the antenna and the amplifier, but, you know, sometimes just a MiFi, I'm sorry, MIMO, that's MiFi, something else, will do the trick for you. So, okay, enough of that. Let's go ahead and go on with the show. Oh, by the way, Palm Canyon is part of the COFA National. Is it national? I want to say it's National Reserve. It stands for K of A, King of Arizona. And it turns out, no, it's not really the King of Arizona in terms of the mountain. Um, it is 4,800 feet, which is, yeah, hey, I'm not going to laugh at it. That's more than I would be wanting to take on a day from sea level. But yeah, I can remember when I lived down in Tucson, Mount Lemmon is like 9,100 feet. And if you go up to the northern part of the state, up by Flagstaff, there's several that are, up 12,000 feet. But anyway, I guess in Yuma, that area, it's the highest. But we were actually not in Yuma County. We were in La Paz. That's it, La Paz County. And they have been, in their cities, been having big increases, sadly, with their COVID. So good reason to kind of wear your mask or kind of stay out in the sticks, the BLM land. But there was the big tent. It was operational. I didn't go into that area. I do have another video. Embarrassingly, I will share it. I took my e-bike, my rad city bike, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go in and just stay a good distance away from area. I'm just going to drive on the streets, just take a look around. Well, I guess I don't know the difference between north and south, because when I was on 95, I was about 2 or 3 miles, maybe about 3 miles south of downtown where the freeway Interstate 10 is. And somehow I got going the wrong way. I got going south. This is about 3 in the afternoon, 2:33, and I just kept going and going. It was after 4, and the e-bike, even though I wasn't going on the road, it would be too dangerous there with the traffic going 65 miles an hour on a 2-lane paved road. This isn't very wide. I thought, I'll go on the gravel next to it, or on the frontage road where there is, let's see, I guess the utility poles, and they have a right of way there. Man, that when you go through in a wash, that was no good. I learned to keep my weight on the back seat of the bicycle so that I don't get thrashed out too bad. But yeah, after going on that for about an hour and a half, and it's like 4 in the afternoon, it's going to be dark after 5, and it's like, what's going on? So I finally got out my cell phone and looked at the map, and I thought, oh yeah, you're going the wrong way, Michael. So I was making good time, but it's going the wrong way. So when I went through one wash, my handlebars came loose a little bit, and the gear shift changer lever broke off. So, okay, I did have the power of the throttle since it is electric and it has a motor on it. But it was kind of an interesting journey. But I made it back before dark. Thank you from powers up above. And so I lived to fight another day. Okay, so I think that's most of it for Quartzsite. Let's see what else I have here. I think I got my show notes right here. And number 2, YouTubers at national parks. Now, there was a couple, Kara and Nate, they've got, I don't know, probably 500,000 or more followers, maybe over 1 million. I don't know where they're at today. But nice young couple. And, you've probably seen some of these videos where the couples travel, and a couples vlog, I guess, is technically what they're called. And so they thought, we're going to do some filming in some of the national parks, and we'd love to share it with others. And there's always some of the, you heard about the Karens of the world? Yeah, those people that are like, Grace would call them the hall monitors. They're waiting out in the halls for somebody to do something wrong so they can tattle to the teacher. At any rate, there were some people that are a person, I guess, that said, yay, we don't like this idea of Nate and what's her Nate and let me get that. Kara, that's her name. Yeah. Where they're making money off of these videos. They're at national park and they shouldn't be doing that. And so the national parks wrote them a threatening letter that, they're going to be fined. And if they didn't respond, they could be subject up to 6 months in jail time, and, very threatening. So, that kind of dampen their feeling about being on national parks anymore. They thought they were doing it as something to promote the park, not to make a lot of money off of it. But you know how the government can sometimes be. Obviously, there's two sides to this, and they don't like film crews of thousands of people out there and spoiling it for us who want to see the great outdoors. So, at any rate, there was a resolution on this, and it was the Federal District Columbia Court. The judge ruled that the National Park Service, what they were doing was unconstitutional, that it was infringing on people's First Amendment rights to free speech. If they were just doing, minor league incidental filming, they weren't doing it to make a lot of money off of it, and said, give these guys a break. So, and that ruling was by independent film director Gordon Price. If you're just out there by yourself and not getting in the way, don't give these people a bad time. Let them do some filming. But the answer would still be no, I think, in some cases. So if you have a film crew there, you can't do that. Or if you've got models and things like that you're filming, or shooting photos, that's not quite the same, where you're maybe distracting from the enjoyment for other people who have paid or enjoying the parks. And also, if you're doing something that's dangerous, where you've got lights and a lot of tripods, you can have your one tripod out there. Yeah, that's okay. But, just be sensible with it. Don't do things where you're abstracting. Have a big PA system or effects going on or the like. And as always, drones are not allowed in a national park. Now, a national forest is a whole different thing. But the FAA, Federal Aviation Authority, says not in national parks. And we should know that if you're fly drones. Okay, number 3. How about Thousand Trails? They've got a new program. Now, they had the Elites and the Odyssey program. And then for those who, just the annual pass, who don't have a membership, but just have each year where they get a pass, and you can get it to one zone of the United States, or, you can buy additional zones, geographical regions, if you want to get all 5 for the whole United States. And they said Thousand Trails. So we're going to get another one. We'll no longer sell the Odyssey, and that was, I think, up to 28 days you could stay at one location, which is more than you could if you had the Elite. And then I think it's 3 weeks for them and 2 weeks if you just have the year-to-year type of camp pass. So they said, no, we're not going to do that one anymore. But this other one, don't you know, it's working even better. It's going to call it the Adventure. And if you have some of the other plans, you can spend, $3 to $6, or if you just have the yearly, I think it's up to $15,000 or so. I think they give $2,000 off for some of these programs as a promotional. How long that'll go, I don't know, but it's fairly expensive. So I guess if you're a full-timer, it might make good economic sense. You get also access to, the Encore locations, which are kind of the resort places. And it used to be that you were in 2, 3, or 4 weeks, but then you would have to stay out for 7 days. If you were more than 4 days, it gets kind of complicated. If you're more than 4 days at a location, then you have to, once you get to whatever your quota limit is, you would have to stay out for 7 days. And they're saying with the Adventure, no, you'll have it the whole time. But the people with the Odyssey are saying, well, but I could stay 28 days, and this new one's only 21 days. And so there's a lot of puts and takes. But as some of the people who have these, they say, yeah, leave it up to Thousand Trails. Every couple of years, they'll kind of up the bar to try to get you to spend more money for a new program. So, some people, I guess, basically say, I'm not going to spend anything. Others will say, I'll spend maybe $500 to $600, and I'll go year to year, and that's fine for me. And I may not be able to get my reservations except up to a couple of months ahead of time. And you guys are spending $10,000 or more. They can make them up to 180 days, up to half a year. You get the good ones before I do. Well, that's okay. I'll find some other places to stay. So anyway, that's going on with Thousand Trails, in case you were interested how that works. Although now that we've got the solar panels, I'm hoping that we can do a little bit more boondocking, which means if you're in the lowlands, you can do the Bureau of Land Management property. And if you're in the higher lands, then you can try for the National Forest in the dispersed camping modality. Okay, Business Insider. Next, we're going to talk about what's going on with the RV industry, more of what we've talked about before, and that is that Thor Study, Thor Industries, you know them. They're the big boys on the block, have a lot of different brands, including Airstream. 40% of RVers returning to the pre-COVID traveling amount. So they're finding almost half the people that are out there, those of us who are RVers, are going to be returning to whatever amount of traveling they were doing before. Half of them almost are doing that. And 39%, 40% almost, are going to be doing more traveling next year. So yeah, things are looking better for 2021. So that's good news. And Thor is also commenting on what's going on their websites, where people look at RVs to purchase, and they say that traffic is going up, it's spiking, and that a lot of people are doing research preparing to buy, or maybe just lusting. I don't know. But so I guess Thor is very bullish this year. And 78% of potential RVers will complete a purchase in 2021. So if they were looking, these people are driving up the traffic, they find that more than 3/4, 78%, are going to do a purchase, and 18% are going to do a second purchase. What? Yeah, they're going to buy something else. So I don't know what that is. I don't think that many people have a second RV, but I think that's more than just accessories. So very interesting. Maybe they buy something for their kids. Who knows? Okay, next up in RV business, here's the, I'm sorry. No, I guess this is Harvest Host now. Yeah. And they have over 10,000 respondents. And they are saying that in mid-March, everything for Harvest Host went last year. When the COVID first hit, that kind of like sunk them, and they were kind of pretty somber state for the couple. I can't remember their names, but nice pair that they like RVing too. So, but then in May, things came back with a fury, and between May and December, it's been a big turnaround for them. And they're finding that 76% plan to travel more this year, and 25% are saying, we don't like to fly, and we don't like to stay in hotels. So I guess a third are saying they're going to go 1 to 500 miles, and 61% saying more than 500 miles. So people are going to be traveling this year, and most are going to be traveling more than 500 miles. Popular states: California, Florida, Arizona, Texas, Oregon. Least popular: Wyoming, South Carolina. I don't know why. We like South Carolina down in Myrtle Beach when we went last year. South Dakota. We love South Dakota. That's been our most popular video, was at Little Bighorn. Texas. Well, I wouldn't want to drive around much in Dallas. We stayed at an Elks Club in Dallas, and man, the freeway traffic is brutal. Not to say that it was good in Boston or some of the other places. Or Oregon. To me, Oregon, yeah, we haven't been there yet, but we look forward. So it will be one of the most popular for us, even though they're I'm sorry, that was Alaska and Alabama. Oregon is a popular. So excuse me. The other ones that they don't think are too popular, probably because they're hard to get to: Alabama and Alaska. Okay. More statistics, but some of the ones I like. 71% plan to bring their pets RVing. Wow. There's a lot of us out there, aren't there? 81% they're fine caravanning with friends, even, have them in a separate RV. If there's a COVID restriction, they said, sure, still can caravan with them and keep a social distance, kind of like what people are doing down Quartzsite. And 23% are already doing remote work. So 31% say they're going to do more remote work, and 23% were already doing it. And of those, more than half of them saying we do it with our RV. So go figure. Okay, how many shipments do you think are going to happen this year for RVs? Well, last year it was 400,000. This year they're saying 500,000 RVs. Man, I hope they don't all go to the parks that I like to go to. Yikes. More reason about in BLM land or national forest, isn't it? If they have spots, but we all have to keep them clean, take good care of them, or else, they're going to shut some of those down. So be respectful for your neighbors and other RVers. Okay, so 46 million RV travelers. I don't know what that number means. I don't know if that means people are full timers. They get 365 is what they count, but it's a big, big number. December they did 40,000 sales in the month of December last month. So they're cranking up towards once it gets to be spring and summer. That the shipments will be out there and people will be en masse. So get your reservations early, I think, is what it boils down to. Okay, COVID drove the 2020 increase, it says, and I'm not wanting to be political, but it says the Democrat House and Senate will be part of what's driving the increase. So I guess they're looking at some favorable tax rulings. I thought taxes would be going up perhaps, but no, I guess they want to stimulate the industry. So the industry is looking favorably on the administration. Interesting. And the COVID restrictions are getting rolled back already in California. So that's helping the dealers. Also, it's helping the campsites to open up from social distance sites. So Southern California, the Bay Area, and San Joaquin Valley, I think, are expected to be big areas for people to go to. Okay, next, gadgets. Remember I talked about weBoost, the Wilson Electronic Booster. That's an amplifier where it has an antenna. I like to put mine up on the roof, right on the top of my ladder. And so that's the first thing that's going to hit. I think my RV is about 11 foot 4 inches, but if I had to bend down or just let it bend over a little bit, I could go a little bit less to maybe about a little under 11 feet. But anyway, so, it takes the signal, both transmitting and receiving, and brings it down to a retransmitter after it goes to your amplifier. By the way, that's only authorized on certain frequencies according to the FCC. And I don't know if you're into these 6 bands, 2, 4, 5, 12, 13, and 25, not meant for the 5G bands, whether or not it would go through or not, because when you start to get the higher frequencies, then the amplifiers weren't tuned for those frequencies. But something to know. And, in some cases, I said you might be just as well off with like I showed you, that multiple input, multiple output. Maybe if you get it pointed just the right direction, if you have fringe signal, it might help you with that double polarization to pick up those weak signals. Okay, moving on. Winnebago, I think we talked about this before, but starting in January on the East Coast, Winnebago has this show, where COVID, they're not coming to the big tents as much, or there was the show down there in Florida. But they're, I guess, kind of try to do things in various states to have a show for some of their new RV models. So look for that in your states. I think they're sometimes doing 2 to 4 states at a time. And between now and the spring, it should be getting a lot of them close to your area. If that interests you, maybe just to kick the tires, or if you're a YouTuber, maybe you just want to get some videos to share with other people. Okay, AARP. Do you get those things? I do. I never sign up for them. Association of Retired People. They had a special talking about RV lifestyle. If you went to their site, lifestyle during COVID. And they're talking about, among other things, mooch docking, where you like stay with some of your friends and family. Hey, can I pull up on your property there? Maybe park out in back or in the driveway. Hey, I've got a dog bone I can hook up to your 110 volts, or if you got a 20 or 30 or maybe a 50 amp, I'd love to get some power while I'm staying with you. So that would be mooch docking. And they called it, another variation is wall docking. I'm like, wall docking, what's that? Well, that is actually going to Walmart and docking there. I thought, well, okay, I guess so. How about crack docking? Oh, no, don't go there. Yeah, Cracker Barrel, which allows most locations where you can park at their facilities and have a great meal. Maybe high calories, a little greasy, but hey, if you like good, juicy food, you'll like them. They're great people. So crack docking, I've not heard that one before. So I guess I was Bass Pro docking when I was down there in Rancho Cucamonga spending the night. on the way to Quartzsite. Okay, last item is RV Industry Association, DeMars Associates. They have a new dispute resolution program of keyword available for manufacturers of RVs that want to sign up with this and have that part of things they're selling as well. They will have intermediaries to set up the process, to get mediators, and to make sure that any grievances that the RV purchasers of new RVs this year are done in a fair and equitable way. So I think that's good. It's better than getting a lawyer or having to figure out how to get your own mediators and the like. So supposed to be efficient, less adversity, a voluntary mitigation with third-party administrators who will have experienced mediators. Yeah, who can kind of say, you're kind of like, geez, Michael and Grace, you're kind of like, really? You're kind of pushing a little bit. They did due diligence and they were fair, or quite the contrary sometimes, where people have a certain, this company CW or others, where you just think, man, I bought one from them and they didn't really have it set up. They couldn't have had it set up. Things, they weren't even hooked up. So they would take care of it within a 40-day resolution cycle. So I think that is about it I have on the show today. So it's nice to kind of be able to be back with you this year. And I hope your year is starting off fantastic. Looking forward to getting out in the great outdoors when the weather is cooperative. And today it's looking pretty nice. And I don't know about your vaccine schedule, but, I was like waiting through my medical company, Kaiser Hospital. And it's like, really? I'm over 65 now, so we were in this group 1B, according to the state of California. It's like, come on, Kaiser, call. Well, they haven't got the people that are over 75. My mother's still around at 94, and she's like, hasn't got a call either. So, I guess they're doing the first responders. There just isn't enough vaccine. But I was, as a Rotarian, on a Zoom call just yesterday, and our county health coordinator, Dr. Mays, she was saying that, they're getting more outlets that they're able to have distributing, people who can administer the shots and also getting the vaccines. And so they're getting the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines out there. And I was out walking the dog the other day, and one of my friends, a fellow Rotarian, coincidentally, and said, "Hey, I'm getting a shot tomorrow." I'm like, well, how's that? And so there was one of these companies that they had heard that was just give them a call, or actually go on their website. And I got to say, the process to fill out the all the forms, there's a lot of dependencies. You have to, I even found one time, it says, okay, what is your last name? And I was like, Nistler, uppercase N, Istler, and I couldn't go through. And then after a while, I thought, there's got to be a way. So I just tried entering the name in lowercase, Nistler with a lowercase n. And I was like, okay, now you can get through. It's like, whoa. So, some of the systems are not quite right yet. So I don't know if those of us who are older, unless you're like, I've had my whole career with computers, so I'm okay with this kind of stuff, deducing it. Was a systems engineer actually for software. So at any rate, if you are using a system, you may want to get like your son or daughter, your grandkids to help you if you're finding the systems. You have to use that process. But I got a week from now, next Friday, I'll be getting my shot, as will my mother. I got her scheduled in also. So that's the first one. And then the second one needs to be 3 to 4 weeks later. And they're going to do us 3 weeks later, which is fine. And so, I was just kind of, I don't know if you're like studying any of this, but I saw something just the other day where it said, don't take Advil or Excedrin, pain meds before, or, like if you don't need it afterwards, try to resist unless you're really feeling bad, because it more efficiency, I guess, if it you can do it without drugs. Like, well, what's up with that? I don't know if I can have any libations or not, but at any rate, I'm hoping that you're going to be safe and enjoy the great outdoors this year. It's going to be an awesome year, and hopefully the economy and everything's treating you well, and that you're have a lot of anticipation in your life to enjoy the great outdoors. It's been wonderful with our RV for the last 4 or 5 years now, and we're looking for more time to get out there and play with all of you, boys and girls, and enjoy the good life. So as always, happy trails to you. Until we meet again, peace out. Bye for now. Hope to see you next week. Bye-bye now. Happy trails to you. Oh, by the way, did you see I got my Grand Canyon hat on there from last year? Do I look kind of like Elmer Fudd? You remember that, Elmer Fudd? Okay. Well, anyway, once again, take care. Bye now.